welcome back to Vinyl Friday, where I go through my records like a big nerd and talk about why I love them. This week is Classic Album Week, whereby the album that we do a deep dive on is determined by you, by poll. The album that you have chosen for us to listen to today peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Soul LPs chart, and number 4 on the Billboard Top LPs and Tapes chart. And it is wild to me that it didn't top that chart as well, but here we are. It won 3 Grammys.
And the winner is Stevie Wonder for Innervisions.
Album of the Year, Best Engineered Album, not classical, and Best R&B Song. And it is an album that is number 34 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, which, if you know numbers and counting and such like, is pretty high up the list. Now listen, Stevie Wonder, following the release from his childhood contracts, experienced a sort of glory period in his career around the mid-70s, basking in his newfound creative freedom. Today's album is his 16th studio album. The man was like 23 at this point. 16th studio album. It's situated almost in the middle of that glory period. It is 1973's Innervisions, and it sounds like this.
Today's not yesterday. Just enough for the city. Golden lady, I'd like to go there till I reach my highest ground. And you laugh, it will go all is fair and love. Don't you worry about a thing.
This is a really good one. Yes! Innervisions isn't quite a concept album, but it is very heavy on themes. Track 2 is a sort of mission statement, visions. Stevie envisions a utopia.
Have I lived to see the milk and honey land?
Only to remind us that this is not the reality which we inhabit.
Or is this a vision in my mind?
He really drives the point home by following it up with Living for the City.
Living just enough,
which follows the doomed prospects of a young man who has been dealt a rough hand.
A boy's born in hot time, Mississippi.
And the trials that he faces along the way. Now, some of the sequencing choices on this album are a bit odd, like opening with Too High.
She takes another puff and says it's a crazy scene. She's a tangerine.
But that 1-2 punch of Visions and Living for the City is just inspired. The album is sprinkled with love songs like Golden Lady and All in Love is Fair, but evenly spaced between them are tracks about addiction and modern tribulations generally and whether or not they can be overcome. And while many of the tracks deal implicitly and explicitly with race, I would argue... Hang on. The soapbox correspondent would like a word. Get on my soapbox for a minute here. Listen up, folks. Here is the thing. The worlds in which we live and the realities which we experience are becoming increasingly polarized. However, there is one thing that unites us despite the myriad things that seek to divide us. And that thing is class. For over 40 years now, wealth has not so much been trickling down as pooling overhead. The middle class is going extinct. In the wealthiest country in the world, the top 1% owns more than the bottom 93%. The time has come for the economically downtrodden to band together. The time has come to rise. Whoa, 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 that'll do. She's gonna have us taken off the air. But to her point, the album's closing statement is Mr. Know-It-All.
He's Mr. Know-It-All.
Which is allegedly a scathing indictment of then-President Richard Nixon, who shortly after the release of this album would resign in disgrace after lying to the public. How quaint.
In any case, the song describes a wealthy, self-obsessed, greedy grifter, totally bereft of morals, who holds a position of power. Cool. Here are some choice lyrics.
Any place he will play, his only concern is how much you'll pay.
Cool.
If he shakes on a bed, he's the kind of dude that won't pay his debt.
Cool, 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 cool. And while that song is inarguably a wonderful piece of music that is entirely and thoroughly worthy of our discussion, it's maybe not what we need right now. What I would like to do is a deep dive on Unbridled Joy, which is the most radical approach of them all, really. So deftly curated by our prodigious protagonist, then 23-year-old Stevie Wonder. Let's talk about Don't You Worry About a Thing. Now, it sort of goes without saying that I love this song. I don't like to do episodes on songs that I don't have some love for, at least. It seems to defeat the purpose of this whole exercise. But this one, I really love. We're just gonna go through the song, top to bottom. I'm gonna point out some things I love with the help of some of my correspondents. Here we go. This is a song that is playful from its opening bars. There's sort of like an absurdist, quasi-skit element to the introduction of this piece of music. He pretends to speak Spanish. The pretend Spanish kind of reminds me of that song that Italian musician did that was like a send-up of what English sounds like to Italians, but he accidentally produced this banger and it became a huge hit. I don't know if you've heard of this song, but if you haven't, it sounds like this.
We just stay in the shoes now, and whole building scene in a whole rate, maybe get the color boss dying.
Anyway, that's what Stevie's doing on this track. The thing is, there's sort of a duality to this introduction, right? Because there's the goofy silliness, and then there's this beautiful, sleek piano underneath, kind of like jazzy and sophisticated, very heavily Latin inflected. The piano correspondent's gonna tell you about it now. Hello, the internet. It is me, your piano correspondent. So this song opens like so. A modification on a style of piano that is played in a lot of Afro-Caribbean musics, like salsa. That would sound something more like this. Or some variation thereof. So when he's playing, that is the tradition that he is clearly alluding to. It is from the very first moment of the song that we get this sense of chromaticism. And what we mean by this is that when the melody is being played, or the harmony is being played, it is moving down by half steps instead of full steps. Oh, you misjudged. Come on up. So if we're to play a scale in this key, it would sound like this. But if we were to play a chromatic scale in that key, we'd go down by half steps. So that's the next immediate note every time. Stevie Wonder is constructing so much of the melody and the harmony of this song around that convention. And that introduction is the point where we first hear this. You can hear it in this top note. Chromaticism. This will be a motif throughout the song. In addition to a whole lot of percussion instruments, like we've got shakers, we've got cowbells.
I rock, I ran, Eurasia, I speak very,
And everything's sort of creeping into the song as he's doing his skit. It's an incredibly busy drum part for such a chill verse, which starts here.
Everybody's got a thing.
We'd like to call on our drum correspondent now to tell you more about that. Hello everyone, it's your drum correspondent here. Oh, this is kind of a tricky one for a variety of reasons. The first is that Stevie Wonder is primarily a keyboard player and also a drummer who plays from the heart and does not adhere to any particular drumming conventions. He just does what feels good. Fortunately, he's got a great ear. Unfortunately, it makes it very difficult to learn what he's doing because, there are so many layers of percussion on this track and the vocals are so high in the mix that it's actually really difficult to hear what he's doing, even if you isolate out the drums. The first thing, though, that I do hear with this verse is that the man is going absolutely hog wild on the kick. Hi. On the kick drum, which sounds like this. And the second is that he's doing something interesting with the hi-hat, whereby he opens and closes it, like so, but is also keeping up a sort of a rhythm at the same time. So that sounds like this. In combination with the kick drum, I don't know how he's doing it. Like, the separation of his limbs is impressive to say the least, but also it's so busy for a verse, and yet it works. Stevie Wonder magic. I really love this dissonant chord behind Handle It. That's a really ugly chord, but it's also quite beautiful at the same time. It's my favorite thing about jazz. It's ugly and beautiful simultaneously. So the verse has a largely minor feel because it's based around E flat minor. God, that's a juicy chord. Very nice. When we get to the bridge, which is the bit that goes, don't you worry about a thing, we move to a major feel. From here to here. Our chromaticism comes back to visit when he sings, 'Cause I'll be standing. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing. The verse and bridge of this section of the song really sit in the lower part of Stevie Wonder's range, and it takes on this really musically attractive huskiness.
Taking the things not worth having, but
I don't know that we often get to hear that part of Stevie's voice. He's sort of known for having quite a powerful high belt, but we don't really get to spend much time languishing in this lower range. The chords are amazing. Let's just take a moment to really luxuriate in some of these chords. Here are the chords in the verse. And then the bridge. Hang on, I've just discovered I've been playing this chord wrong. It's even better than I thought. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. I was playing it this way, but I think actually it's... Woo! Nice! We come to our second verse, and I love how he sings this line.
just don't you feel too bad.
And also this line.
Smiling faces, but
The fill before the beginning of the second bridge is just a tom hit.
don't you worry about a thing.
And when we get to the bridge, the harmony of the song becomes explicitly chromatic. At this point, Stevie leaves no room for doubt that this is an extremely chromatic song, because the melody, the harmony, everything suddenly goes like so. When we check it out, the hi-hat becomes an incredibly prominent part of the song, and it does this. It's a lot, but it works. I think part of the reason it works is that that's very straight, whereas the melody and harmony are quite syncopated. Da 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 da, falls in between the downbeats. So obviously there's the melody that's singing the ah, but the harmony is also chromatic, like this. I liked that. I liked that very much. We arrive at our chorus, which is glorious. And this chorus is explosive because we are no longer in that lower range of Stevie Wonder's voice. Apropos of nothing, he jumps up an entire octave.
Don't you worry about a thing.
And the last chord in that chorus structure goes completely unresolved. with which we are now extremely familiar, except that from there, it goes to here. That's where he ends the phrase of the verse. What? It's kind of uncomfortable, but it works. Don't you worry about it. Let's listen to him singing. It's better than me singing. A delight. The first half of the next verse has no lyrics. It's actually scat. The jazz kind. The jazz kind of scat. It starts out as a canon as well. No, not that kind of canon. The vocals are staggered. It's a much better version of the row, row, row your boat situation. Fine, I'll do it. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Your boat merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, life is but a dream. Merrily, life is but a dream. So many musical techniques crammed into one song, and yet it doesn't feel over intellectualized, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know that it would work with this song. The song has to maintain that goofiness. I think it is a critical component. It's a critical ingredient in this piece of music. And while that may be maximalist, it is precisely that unbridled nature that makes the song so joyful to listen to. I love the harmony at the end of this section. Oh, that's so good. It sounds like the rest of the verse is going to be at the same high part of his range, but it's a fake out. He drops right back down to where he was before.
Don't you worry about a thing.
And we're back down again. There's another fake out. We don't go straight into the chorus from the end of this verse. We go into one final combustive, which is a word. I checked. It means the same thing as combustible, but is a distinct word in its own right. Combustive final verse. Full-throated, it's high, it's double-tracked. He's giving everything to this final verse. There's some insanely good vocals in this verse. I especially love how he sings this.
You're the only one to see.
And also this.
Don't you worry about a thing, pretty mama. 'Cause
Oh, how good is that? They're controlled, yet wild. They're energetic, they're effervescent, they're bombastic, they're colorful, they are so full of life. And he jumps straight to the chorus now, without preamble. We don't need a bridge this time, we've already had that.
when you check it out, don't you worry about a thing.
Keeps the listener on our toes. You know, he establishes a structure at the top of the song and then blows it to pieces once we've got a sense of what's going on. Ugh, amazing. Okay, we come to our final chorus, and this final chorus reintroduces the todo está bien chévere gag from the introduction, but as a backing vocal. Mad lad, absolute mad lad. And one of my favorite moments of this last chorus is when it transitions into the verse structure, but that todo está bien chévere backing vocal just morphs to accommodate the new chords that sit underneath it. I also really love how he pronounces chévere. Chévere. Works better as backing vocal that way, I think. Such a gorgeous, satisfying harmony with such absurd lyrics. And it sort of begins to follow a Latin montuno structure. That Latin influence has been throughout the song. It's well established by this point, but to bring in a montuno where the backing vocal becomes the fixed point in the song around which the melody can improvise, that sits perfectly within that musical tradition. Well done, buddy. Well done. It's an incredible song, this. It's incredible. It establishes all of these concepts at the top of the piece, almost like a table of contents in that introduction, that gag section. And then the rest of the song functions almost like a misdirection, so that when these things are established at the end of the song, it's like, ha, ta-da, remember these. Clever. I love it. I love your work, Stevie Wonder. In some. In preparing for this episode, I couldn't help but notice the relevance of this album. There seem to be a lot of parallels between Stevie's 1973 and the modern world that we inhabit. Or, in the words of Percy Thrillington, the world in which we live in. Will it Beatles? Of course it will. But Stevie's superpower remains equally relevant. His music continues to equip its listeners with the mechanisms that we might need for coping with the realities that it illustrates. Thank the universe for Stevie Wonder. And that's it for me. If you enjoyed this episode or you would like to support any of the weird things I do, I will leave a link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee page, where you are most welcome to make a donation if you wish, but no pressure, my friends. Thank you so very much to everybody who has made a donation or signed up as a member. I really appreciate you. If you're curious about what any of my original music sounds like, I'll leave a link in the description to that as well. My band has just finished recording our next album. We've wrapped the recording, we've wrapped the mixing. It is this close to being done, which is very exciting. So there will be new original music pretty soon. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you here next week. Have a great weekend! Go! Minutes! A wealthy, self-obsessed... You're not helping me. Oh, totally forgot you were outside. I'm coming. Okay. Cat rescued. He's a pretty good songwriter, this Stevie Wonder, isn't he? Yes, he is. Don't you worry about a thing. Good. Okay. Cool. Thanks for listening.